Ya mohu ke raiki he aua ka kalani leo i lo kalani lo ka o ua pala mo ki vai ka he ka mau na kai ko ka mo na ki ka na wana wa ia ka na ua
The last chant we did at Hawai'i, there's different layers to it, but one of them is about navigation, migrations, the continuation of a people, the continuation of a tradition, whether you're in Hawaii or for us, we're in New York.
I remember, sitting in the green room after we had finished, and she was like, "Okay, we're done." And we said, "What's next?" And she said, "Start teaching. Everything I've taught you, please share with others."
Be able to pass on the way that Grandma taught us to actually pronounce and chant and create that vibration, I think is an amazing opportunity for us, to take on that kuleana, that responsibility.
E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai e.
E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai e.
The way that our teacher liked to describe that, because someone asked her at one point, why did you start chanting, which is a different question than what is chanting, and she, her immediate answer was survival. It was like living on a small island, if you are not in sync with all the natural elements around you, you're in greater danger. And so the way to sync yourself is to figure out ways in which you can create some sort of vibration with them. And so it really started with survival, and from there it grew into all the other celebrations that we have today.
Also sharing with the future generations, so it's that oral record that you can pass on to your descendants. And here we are receiving it. I would run into you and you were saying you were practicing some of the chants in the book. And I think I was kind of like looking at who wrote the chant, and it's, it's Antipua. And I thought, maybe I could ask her to teach us how it's supposed to sound. We had one class turned into two, and 1 month turned into a couple months, and then a year later, she was like, "Okay, coming to New York, you guys memorize these chants."
We would do everything over Skype. So it was an interesting transfer of knowledge because she was teaching us chant. We were introducing her to new technology, and really a way for her to gift, her knowledge back. You're learning something thousands of years old, but you're using cutting-edge technology to share it, I think really shows where we are as people today. And I think that's really what the Hawaiian people were about. That's what our culture was about. It's about, being fearless, jumping in a canoe, traveling by the stars, discovering Hawaii, always pushing the limits of what's possible. It's such an awesome tradition that we're keeping alive. I appreciate, people humoring me and doing this every week. But it's just a way to, start the week off. So we're gonna go. Iku mau! Iku va! Iku mau! Iku hulu hulu ika lanavau! Iku va! Iku lanavau! Iku va! Iku va hoki! Iku va ko! Iku va ma! Ekuie, Akulia, Ikumamo, 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 Ikuluhulu, Ikalanavao, Ikulanavao, Ikuva, Huki, Ikuva, Ko, Ikuva, Ma, Amake, Ulu, Ekuie, Akulia. All right, guys, have a great week.
Thank you.
Kumamau is a great team building and foundation building chant. Traditionally about cutting down canoes to enter battle and a way to unify yourselves. So it's a great way for us to get Monday started because everyone's a little groggy. Getting that language spoken in this space once a week I think is really important to just sort of level set and create a protection barrier around what we're building here and understand we're doing this with purpose. It's actually a representation of my grandfather 7 generations ago, Kamanava, and his twin brother, Kamei Yomoku. They were integral in the nation building of the Hawaiian island chain and the unification of the kingdom. To me, the best way of honoring them is chanting. When I'm saying my chants, I'm speaking to them directly. I want to speak their language. Being raised on the East Coast, wanted to do something where I could bring Hawaii to me. I think before I thought of the idea, I thought of trying to build something that could honor Hawaii. And from there, the idea for the software came, not vice versa. And as I got deeper into it, I realized that chanting and the spiritual side of this was just as important as the idea itself. And I think I'm still at the very early stages of my own kuleana, and I think what's going to be a lifetime journey. So this is the roof of my office, and Chris and I would come here, especially in the warmer months, and practice a few of our chants. We're using chant in New York City versus being in Hawaii, and elements in New York City are not palm trees and ocean, it's water coolers and skyscrapers.
And really like walking around, whether it's a rainstorm or a snowstorm or some crazy wind, when you feel and experience the elements in New York, that's when I chant. It just comes out. So I was born and raised in Hawaii, and very lucky because my father is very active in the Hawaii music scene. He would take me from my mom's house and just take me to like a live Hawaiian music jam session down the street in Manoa. I just heard the most amazing music, the most amazing live Hawaiian performances. The earliest memories of language and chant and sound was just listening to music with my dad and being around Hawaiian musicians through him.
Imino na pea lua, e te ala pono no, kua kui ka aina, me ka nanakila.
And it was whatever he was playing in the car. He was always playing Gabi Pahinui. He's like the grandfather of the Hawaiian folk music movement. He brought this guttural chanting style to his playing and his singing, and it was kind of radical. You feel the thoughts and emotions coming through. Maybe you don't know what the words exactly mean, but there's a sense of continued pride. And I'm not Hawaiian. I'm a Japanese American, and to grow up with those thoughts and emotions being expressed, you realize that there is an occupied nation, really, called Hawaii. So, you be on the New York train and you'll be like, doing your New York thing, but then that'll come on your phone and you'll just be like, yeah, remember where you're from. You get a sense of story and beauty of culture and resistance and steadfastness of a people. So I left Hawaii to come to New York for film school because I wanted to change the way Hawaii is portrayed in Hollywood. If you want to change your approach to telling Hawaiian stories, you gotta start from the beginning, and then the beginning is on the subtle level, and the subtle level is chant.
E ulu dinia de du ai o dani me na lo ulu dau ia on vai dai ye ulu ai de anu no I do na dau e da vai ola e li da bu e no.
It's actually a prayer for the beginning of learning hula, but it also describes it as a prayer chant asking for inspiration. So I thought perhaps this could also be an invocation for someone who's composing a chant or writing a screenplay. I have a slate of stories, Hawaiian stories, that are set in New York City. Monday through Friday, I'm at the film school. On the weekends, I'm here trying to develop these screenplays. I'm very grateful for having been able to study Oli with Antipua. Connects me to something bigger than myself. And hopefully it allows me to carry a bit of that eternity and approach the work with that inside. What is Oli? I can only borrow Antipua's words, and she once told me that it's a dim voice from the past. So you're either receiving that, or you're lending your voice to that.
Okay, that was some good stuff. The more you fall in love with this chant, the more it'll mean something to you, and the more it'll mean something to other people that surround you and hear you saying it.
The Hokulea Hawaiian voyaging canoe, it's on its way from Hawaii to New York, traveling the world, stopping in 60 different cities. And so we've been tasked with doing the reach out to the Native American tribes in the area. So what we've been doing is called Kipai Pai. We've been going and doing a traditional greeting protocol ceremony. So we're going up there, we're asking permission for a landing, because we're not from this land, we're visiting. And the right thing to do before you come into someone's house is to ask permission. And so the way that we know how to do that is by chant, by song, by dance. and sharing our culture with them. And that's, a makana, a gift to them with respect before our brothers and sisters and cousins arrive.
I say to you, thank you to all the ancestors from Manhattan, the Lenape people whose land this has been for thousands of years. You are standing in Lenape Hopi.
We welcome all our relations back to see us again. We know the time before time that the people came across in the boats and gave us songs and feathers and stones, and we traded back and forth before.
My grandmother shares the story of when she went to school. She went to Kamehameha schools, which is a native Hawaiian, elementary and high school, endowed by the Queen of Hawaii to continue, an education practice for the native Hawaiian children of the islands. And when she was attending there, she was forbidden from speaking the language. It was not taught there. It was forbidden from being spoken. And I think that was really a scary time because, in a place like that, that's where it should be celebrated. And it was, she gets very emotional when she speaks about it because she feels that something was taken from her as a child. And so, to me, it's important to do this and do it for her. She gets so happy when she sees me chanting because, where things are today. And so, it's hard being Hawaiian. We were going through a pretty difficult time. But it's a very strong community of people, and so I think that's why these practices mean so much. It's important to remember where we came from and where we are today as people, and proudly being able to walk through the streets. Going back to Hawaii now, people are speaking the language, they're dancing, they're chanting, they're celebrating the holidays, they're praying, and it really is elevating our people to a different level. And it's also a way for us to connect with other traditions, other people from all over the world.
Oh,
e kau I ka nalu he nalu haki ka kala he nalu e imi ana I ta aina e hiki a kuai o ni hoa ta aina mako I pai mua kuai lele e nei mako kau iuka o ni ho o tana no a kupo ki a kane a pua kaulana e ka holo a hokule a kaulana e ka holo a hokule I ka ale I ka ale moi I ka ale ha ko I ka ale kua popoto I ka ale kua lolo o kanaloa a kanaloa I kanaloa aola I ke au kamawana nuia kea kaulana e sa holo a hokule a kaulana e ka holo a hokule o apelika puka I ka lai kai ko o puka o hokupa a maya kanaloa o palakila I kalipia hiti maila I moku e a e o pololika I makine kona kaulana e sa holo a hokule a kaulana e ka holo a hokule o yameko a I mana haka lena pe hokina te one hana e no ia ka hoe a hokule a he nanu e I ana I sa ana e I a kua e ola mauna malama honua
Paka! Paka paka! Ku paka!